On the day before Christmas, my husband kicked me, 7 months pregnant, out of the car. My arm scraped the pavement, resulting in a ghastly wound. I clutched my stomach and pleaded for his help. He turned instead to comfort his childhood sweetheart, afraid of the dark, leaving me alone on the highway. Lana is having an episode and needs someone with her. You have hands and feet, figure out your own way back. I struggled to reach the hospital and underwent an abortion without his knowledge. While cleaning my wound, I retrieved a number from my blacklist and dialed it. I want to go back. The nurse, visibly shaken, tended to the wound on my arm. Miss Serena, you must remember to change the dressing on time, this injury is too severe. It's Christmas, and you're injured like this, with no family or boyfriend to stay with you. I turned to gaze out the window as the young nurse's compassionate voice persisted, you've just had an abortion, even if you're alone, you must take care of yourself. Since Ethan left, I have not reached out to him, nor has he sent me any word. It feels as though I, pregnant with his child, am the outsider, while Lana is akin to his wife of 3 years. Upon returning home, I found Ethan and Lana sitting on the sofa, watching television. Ethan regarded me with a sneer and tossed the half-peeled apple in his hand toward me, the intact fruit shattering at my feet. Ethan scrutinized me with amusement and disdain. Didn't I just tell you to come back on your own? Why did it take so long, and now you're faking an injury? Who are you trying to intimidate? I listened to his accusations numbly, my rebuttals long exhausted. He rambled on as if victorious, it's all because you delayed me that Lana got frightened. Apologize now. He had once assured me earnestly that Lana, who grew up with him in the slums, had a tough life, claiming he saw her only as a sister while incessantly seeking my sympathy. Yet Ethan's repeated departures for Lana demonstrated how absurd my trust in them was, though he persistently explained it was his duty as a brother to care for his sister. As it happened more frequently, he turned to accuse me, can't you stop being so paranoid? I married you, if there were truly something between Lana and me, would it have been your turn? Each word of his reproach pierced my heart like an invisible blade. I took a deep breath to steady myself, increasingly aware that I had been a laughable fool all these years. Lana blinked innocently. Sister Serena, we didn't know when you'd return, so we ate first. Don't be upset with me and brother Ethan, I'll leave at dawn tomorrow. I was just too scared today and won't disturb you for long. Tears of grievance welled in Lana's eyes, prompting Ethan to rub her head tenderly. Ignore her, I think she's having another episode. She acts like an emperor just because she's pregnant. There's still food on the table that Lana made especially for you, eat it and clean up. Don't waste Lana's kindness. I let out a cold laugh. What part of this so-called special meal could I eat? Gazing at the table's leftover scraps, I wanted to slap them both. As I turned to go upstairs, Ethan called out, who are you putting on this show for? Even if you don't eat, you still need to clean the table. Returning alone from the hospital, I faced Ethan's endless criticism. Pointing at the table laden with seafood, I said icily, I can't eat seafood, have you forgotten why? Ethan paused, then awkwardly approached me, resting his hand on my shoulder to pull me into an embrace. A hint of guilt finally flickered in his eyes. I'm sorry, honey. I remember how you ate seafood to help me win clients and ended up in the ICU. I was just too hasty earlier. Lana has always been sensitive, your cold reaction will hurt her. I shrugged off his hand and broke free from his embrace, chuckling lightly, because of her, you abandoned me on the highway, and now you expect me to cater to her? I went to the hospital injured and alone. Why didn't you think of me and the child? Only then did Ethan notice the genuine bandage on my arm. The white gauze, disturbed by the earlier struggle, now bore faint red stains. As Ethan stepped forward to inspect, I saw Lana's face darken behind him. Yet she let out a whimpering cry, tears flowing as she instantly adopted a rejected demeanor. "Sister Serena, you do blame me after all. I never meant to cause you such harm." "Brother Ethan, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have called you, and I won't bother you anymore. I'll leave now." Hearing her sobs, Ethan immediately turned and held Lana, who feigned departure. He said with some impatience, "I understand your emotions are unstable due to pregnancy, but targeting Lana like this is excessive. Lana has only me as family. If she has an episode later and doesn't contact me, causing a mishap, I won't let it go." Ethan grew more agitated, advancing toward me. As I stepped back, I stumbled, my arm striking the staircase, and pain-induced tears involuntarily spilled from my eyes. Lana, behind Ethan, cried even harder, prompting him to turn and reassure her. "Lana, don't fear. As long as I'm here, no one can harm you." Enduring the pain, I stood and gritted my teeth. "She chooses to stay in the slums and has her own problems. What does that have to do with me?" Ethan stared at me in disbelief. "Serena, abandoned by your own family, shouldn't you understand Lana's feelings even more? Are you so heartless now because all your past kindness was a pretense to get close to me?" I gave a bitter smile. Had I not helped him start his company, I wouldn't have fallen out with my family. For his absurd pride, I bore everything, only to earn his scorn. Even if I live alone forever, I won't become a hypocritical parasite like her. Hearing my words, Lana shot me a venomous glance before burying herself in Ethan's arms, sobbing. "Serena, you're utterly hopeless. Lana's emotions have been unstable since I married you. Now you insult her with such words. Get out of our sight." He gently patted Lana's back and lifted her onto the sofa, then grabbed me and threw me outside without a word. "Stay out there and cool off. This is your punishment for disrespecting Lana." The door slammed shut with a bang. Locked outside, snow fell with the wind, whitening my clothes. As New Year's bells tolled, I endured the cold alone. My body, weakened from a recent abortion and injury, couldn't withstand the winter chill. I reached for my phone to call a cab, but it had fallen inside during the earlier struggle. I could only crouch helplessly in a corner, recalling Lana's triumphant smile as I was cast out. Having grown up with her, how could Ethan not see through Lana's facade? It was all merely his indulgence. I gazed at my injured arm and flat abdomen, constant reminders of the kind of person Ethan was. The door abruptly opened, and Ethan looked at me, covered in snow, with disgust. "The hospital called earlier, rambling on about something. Does an arm injury require that much nourishment?" I frowned. I'd left the hospital hurriedly after the abortion, missing the doctor's advice. Seeing my silence, Ethan impatiently beckoned me inside. "If Lana hadn't pleaded for you, you wouldn't be allowed back in." I stood, my feet already numb from the cold. I slipped and fell in the snow, but the thick layer cushioned me from harm. Ethan instantly panicked. "Can't you be careful? If you hurt my son, I won't forgive you." He spoke but retreated inside without offering help. "Ethan, your child and I, who loved you, were already lost to your kick in the car." As I prepared for bed, Ethan entered my room. I couldn't believe he had the audacity after all that had happened. While I pondered, Ethan gazed at my stomach and said slowly, "Why isn't your belly growing after over 6 months? Go for a checkup tomorrow." He approached curiously to touch my stomach as I scrambled for an excuse. A sudden knock came, and Lana's trembling voice sounded outside. "Brother Ethan, I'm so scared. Are you done yet? You promised to stay with me tonight. You won't break your word, will you?" Ethan turned without hesitation. "Lana, don't be afraid, I'm coming." He glanced back at me, about to speak, but swallowed his words when I didn't intervene. After Ethan left, I felt at ease alone. I changed into pajamas, lay on the bed, and quietly stared at my phone screen. Lana's feigned concern echoed, "Brother, won't Sister Serena be upset that you're staying with me? Ethan soothed her gently. What right does she have to be angry? After so many pregnancies, she's only now given me a son. She's merely my obedient dog. From the living room to the guest bedroom, they embraced and kissed passionately, then tumbled onto a bed, naked and unreserved. I silently set down my phone. 2 months ago, while cleaning, I found a pair of women's underwear beneath the living room sofa. Since then, I discreetly installed surveillance cameras at home. It was laughable. This was the Lana Ethan insisted was just his sister. What a dear sister. In that moment, all my love for him shattered. From the first glimpse of him in high school, I fell irrevocably in love. Orphaned, I grew up with my brother, but his work kept him busy, leaving me alone most of the time. His sunny, resilient demeanor drew me in. I gradually approached him, and he never rebuffed me. Eventually, we naturally became a couple. In college, my brother disapproved of us but didn't outright forbid it. It started so beautifully. When did it all change? I sighed, saved the earlier video on my phone, and just as I set it down, a message notification arrived. I opened it to see a live photo. Lana leaned against the headboard, cradling Ethan's head as he nuzzled her chest. Her caption read, "Another year, a lifetime with you." Noticing I'd viewed it, she feigned innocence in the comments. "Sister Serena, don't misunderstand, I was just cold and wanted a hug from brother." I smirked disdainfully. Stay out of it. It seems the unattainable always holds the most allure. Waking the next morning and descending the stairs, I saw the same table of leftovers. They'd already eaten and were cozied up on the sofa. I grabbed some bread from the fridge and ate. "Sister Serena still doesn't care for my cooking," Lana said, sounding aggrieved. After yesterday's intimacy, Ethan doted on Lana even more. "She's the one with issues, ignore her. Serena, clean the table when you're done." Lana abruptly stood, fetched a plate of sliced mango from the kitchen, and offered it to me ingratiatingly. "Sister Serena, I got this early at the supermarket. It's delicious and good for your recovery since you're injured." I eyed the blackened mango and opened my mouth to speak, but Lana shoved a piece into it. I spat it out immediately. Tears instantly brimmed in Lana's eyes. "Sister Serena, did I do something wrong again?" Ethan's face darkened as he stormed toward me, gripping my chin with one hand while stuffing mango from the plate into my mouth with the other. I struggled, gagging as he forced it in. Ignoring my resistance, Ethan covered my mouth, compelling me to swallow. "Serena, how dare you resist? Lana went out early to get this for you. You'll eat it even if it kills you." He forced every piece from the full plate into my stomach without exception. My stomach began to churn uncomfortably. Ethan released me abruptly, and I stumbled, bumping into Lana in front of me. She fell dramatically. "Ah, it hurts." The discomfort intensified, and I struggled to breathe. "I need to go to the hospital," I managed with all my strength before collapsing, unable to hold myself up. Ethan glanced at me with disdain, picked up Lana, and walked out. "Serena, there's a time for acting. Don't you just want me to pamper you more? After I take Lana to the hospital, I'll come back and love you properly. Go wait in bed now." He left without pause, Lana flipping me off as she clung to his neck. I struggled to retrieve my phone but lacked the strength to call. Fortunately, the hospital rang again, urging me to pick up my medication. "Miss Serena, your medicine. Save me." After uttering this, I lost consciousness. Cold liquid entered my body, and I gradually heard faint sounds. "Serena? What's happening?" Ethan interrogated the doctor, who pushed him aside from blocking the stretcher. "The patient has food poisoning. The food she ate was laden with pesticides." The doctor wheeled the stretcher as Ethan trailed behind. "Hey, Aren't you the guy who was just with his wife getting her head checked? An assisting doctor suddenly recalled seeing him earlier. Ethan glared at the doctor irritably. Less talk. I'm her husband, and she's carrying my child. You must save my son. The doctor eyed him skeptically. What kind of husband are you? She just had an abortion, didn't you know? Repeated stomach pumpings caused me to lose consciousness entirely, as past memories surfaced before my eyes. I first met Ethan when he intervened for me, taking a beating from the school bully. I cried while tending his wounds, but he only rubbed my head, saying it didn't hurt. We grew close over time and he became my boyfriend. Everyone envied us, and he vowed to treat only me well, with no one able to displace me in his heart. After graduation and marriage, to support his dreams, I secretly sold the shares my brother gave me, infuriating him when he found out. This led to a rift with my brother, unbeknownst to Ethan, who believed his own efforts secured the investments, thinking I owed my good life to him. From then on, Lana became a frequent presence in our lives, revealing to me his childhood sweetheart. He'd do things with Lana he never did with me. I asked him to join me for prenatal checkups, but he refused irritably with excuses, yet spent entire days shopping with Lana. Ethan said seeing Lana reminded him of their days surviving together in the slums. Now that life was better, he couldn't help but want to care for her as a brother, unaware he always smiled when mentioning her. Gradually, the gentle Ethan I remembered faded. I was always the proactive one in this relationship, and he assumed my initial affection meant I'd forgive him unconditionally. Even company staff gossiped, the boss and his childhood sweetheart are such a match. I recalled how he sweet-talked me into having kids, claiming childbirth was too painful and one was enough, yet what of the three I aborted for a son? In hindsight, it was all my naive illusion he never truly gave anything. So be it, he has his true love, while someone who loves me awaits my return home. Henceforth, I'll walk my broad path, and he his narrow bridge. The sharp scent of disinfectant assaulted my senses as I slowly opened my eyes. Before me was Ethan, eyes bloodshot, glaring fiercely as I awoke. Serena, where's my son? Without my permission, you dared harm my son. I rubbed my still dizzy head and turned away, refusing to look at him. Once I'm discharged, we're divorcing. I'm sick just looking at you now. Let Lana bear your son, she'd surely be eager. Seeing my response, Ethan was about to rage further when the ward door opened. Lana approached Ethan's side, looking down at me. You couldn't even keep brother's child. You're truly useless now. Lana had transformed, radiating arrogance and pride. You didn't know, did you? The moment brother Ethan's company was founded, he gave me 20% of the shares, while you don't even have 3%. Brother and I are the perfect pair. If I could bear children, you'd never have become Mrs. Shing. As for you, you've lost your last shred of worth. Divorce is your best outcome. Ethan, hearing Lana reveal everything, smugly kicked my bed. Hear that, you useless thing? Though I'd suspected Ethan never loved me, this outcome was beyond anything I'd imagined. Grief surged within, but I forced composure to mask my pain. So, from the start, you two were scheming against me. Aren't you afraid of retribution? Ethan laughed heartily at my words. Serena, has illness made you foolish? What retribution? I've reached this point by my own merit. Do you know how powerful I am now? If not for past sentiment, one word from me, and no hospital in K-City would take you. Lana stepped to the bedside, seized my hospital gown, and yanked me up, staring at me defiantly. Serena, you're just a wretch who caught brother's eye by bearing children. Kneel and beg me now, and I'll consider having him give you some alimony. Otherwise, I'll ensure you can't survive in K-City. No longer restraining myself, I slapped Lana in fury. What are you to demand I kneel? I'm still married. You're just a shameless mistress. Seeing Lana's swollen cheek, Ethan swung at me. I ducked and retaliated with 2 slaps of my own. Serena, you're courting death. Enraged, Ethan moved to strike again, but I brandished the earlier video. I sneered at them. Did you truly think I was oblivious to your actions? Calling each other brother and sister while bearing all. What, do you enjoy forbidden romance? Intimidated by my threat, Ethan froze. Serena, for the sake of our years as husband and wife, let's part amicably. Delete the video, and I'll give you money upon divorce. After all this, he dared mention marital bonds. Irritated, I closed my eyes. Get out now, don't disturb my rest. Seeing my resolve, Ethan dropped the pretense and lunged for my phone. Just as he reached me, his arm halted midair. Someone had seized it, immobilizing him. Before me stood a man in a silver suit, his handsome features undimmed by disheveled hair. Dare touch my sister, you must be tired of living. Ethan was flung to the ground, and Lana rushed to aid him. My brother gazed at me tenderly. Serena, your brother's here to take you away. Seeing him, I could no longer suppress my grievances, sobbing in his arms and calling out brother through my shudders. Serena, be good, once you recover a bit more, I'll take you abroad, we'll go home. Ethan stood, shoving Lana aside, and pointed at Daniel. Who are you? She's my wife, what right do you have to take her? My brother held me, gently stroking my back, his tone calm yet commanding in undeniable authority. Serena has never suffered in her life, and you've reduced her to this shit. You dare raise your voice before me. Indeed, trash from the dump remains trash, no matter how well dressed. Ethan's face flushed and paled under Daniel's mockery. Lana hurried to soothe him, yet taunted, and who's this pretty boy? Perhaps someone Serena's keeping on the side? You've no place to speak here, Ethan snapped at Lana's words. So, Serena, you aborted my son and want a divorce for this guy. How is he better than me? Can't even pick a decent one to keep. This pretty boy looks like you, both reeking of poverty. Lana echoed. Ethan, look at that outfit picked from some street stall, yet you dare wear it to show off? Pathetic. Going abroad? You two hicks, do you even know what a passport looks like? Unsatisfied, Lana yanked the watch off my brother's wrist. Oh, a fake from where? Looks real enough. Before finishing, she smashed it on the ground, shattering the entire face. My brother restrained himself, resisting the urge to strike a woman, while Lana noted his lack of reaction. You don't know, do you? She kept you while pregnant with brother Ethan's child. Too bad she's useless. Before Lana finished, my brother kicked her away. Shut up. Ignorant fool, my patience has limits. Lana shrieked in pain. Brother Ethan, you're just watching him hit me? Irritated, Ethan swung at my brother, but after a few exchanges, he too was kicked aside. They ended up side by side. I scoffed, Lana, that watch was once worn by M's king, bought for tens of millions. Can you sell your company to cover it? Don't forget to collect the court summons. 2 years ago, the company could have afforded it, but Ethan's mismanagement has left it nearly hollow unbeknownst to him. As for you, Ethan, post-divorce, I'll leave you with nothing. No need to wait, it's already done. A young, beautiful woman entered. My sister-in-law. The year after our fallout, my brother married. I'd only seen photos before. In person, she was indeed more stunning. Ethan stared, snapped back by Lana's kick. Ethan, holding the documents and divorce certificate, was dazed. Serena, you've been deceiving me. Your family's so rich, yet you played poor. No wonder you want a divorce for someone wealthier, right? He never saw his own faults, always blaming me for everything. I cut off his absurd accusations. Enough. You've exploited me from start to finish. Can't you see all I've done for you? You took it all for granted. What have you ever done for me? No, I won't divorce. This isn't my signature, it's invalid. I won't divorce. Serena, you said you loved me. You can't abandon me. I'll end it with Lana now. Get out. Growing frantic, he struck Lana. Lana clutched her swollen face, staring at Ethan in disbelief. You hit me for her? Another slap landed on Lana's face. Get out, don't sully Serena's sight. He tried approaching me again, stopped by my brother, feigning sincerity. Serena, see? I still like you. We can have another child or not as long as you don't divorce me. I'll make up for all the past harm. He knelt as he spoke. This was Ethan. He loved no one but himself, willing to do anything for his own gain. I sighed and closed my eyes. Brother, I'm tired. Rest a bit, I'll take you away soon. My brother had them both removed. After resting, I left with my brother and sister-in-law, destroying all traces of Ethan, watching it all discarded and ruined. Ethan glared furiously. Serena, how dare you touch my things? Even if you beg me later, I won't forgive you. I looked at him, amused. It's uncertain who'll beg whom. As I prepared to leave, Ethan got a call. What? Curiously, I watched him drag Lana over, forcing her to kneel before me. My brother had targeted his company. Ethan pointed at Lana viciously. It's all you, wretch, hurting Serena. Apologize to her now. Bewildered, Lana stood angrily. What is she that I should, Before she finished, Ethan forced her down again. My company's bankrupt and acquired by Serena's brother. You've taken all I gave you. What's wrong with apologizing for me? This was your fault anyway. Hearing of the bankruptcy, Lana realized her good days were over, her bravado gone. Sister Serena, I was blind before. Please don't hold it against me. Spare us. I'll stay far away and won't bother you anymore. Deeming her apology insincere, Ethan pressed her head down again. Sorry, Sister Serena, it was all my calculated plan. My own baseness hurt you. Please forgive me. Serena, you see it's all her fault. It's not me. Don't leave, I'll be good only to you henceforth. Ethan knelt too, clutching my hem. Disgusted, I stepped back, ignoring them, and entered the car sent for me, leaving Ethan to berate Lana on the spot. After I left, Ethan searched for me, but my brother ensured he wouldn't succeed. Months later, my life stabilized. Beside my brother, I could pursue anything I wished. Some time later, I heard Ethan and Lana lingered in the slums. He didn't seek work, drinking daily, surviving on Lana's meager earnings. Once, drunk, Ethan strangled Lana, calling her a barren hen. In a lapse, he killed her. A week passed before discovery, her body decomposed, and Ethan was sentenced to death. Hearing their fate stirred no emotion in me. The wicked face their reckoning. Serena, let's go. Your favorite concert is starting. My brother waved from the doorway. Coming.